Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world. It is once again time for the WADcast, episode number 109. That's right, it's the Writers, Actors, Directors podcast. I am one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by the man from La La Land, White Adam himself, Brandon.
What's up, White Adam? Jesus. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. It's good to converse with all of you. Bear with me, I'm looking for something right now. But
the dangers of live entertainment.
So what is up, Josh? What's going on?
Well, same old, same old. It's days like these that I'm like, why can't I just be independently wealthy? I mean, that's most days, but in particular days like these where I just wish harder.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
Of all people, you know how it is.
I do.
Gotta work. Gotta keep working. Gotta work till you die.
Yeah, that's the truth. But
other than that, it's everything's cool. Everything's awesome.
Yeah.
Everything's awesome.
Yeah. Well, everything's definitely something right now. But I'm gonna ask you, did you hear about this? I was just talking to you about this. I found the article I was looking for before the show.
Mm-hmm.
There is a let me try to find this guy. Theodore Beale.
A lot of people are trying to find this guy.
Huh?
Said a lot of people trying to find this guy, right?
Well, he's been found, but do you know who he is?
No idea.
Okay. Well, for those of you that aren't familiar with Theodore Beale, I've actually been aware of him for a couple of years now. But he is well, we don't talk politics on the show, and I personally don't care about the politics. But he is a conservative right-wing blogger here in the United States, and he crowdfunded. He's been crowdfunding a conservative superhero, an answer to the woke agenda of superhero movies. It's titled Rebels Run. He has just got in some hot weather with the FBI lately because $1 million in funders' donations went missing. Now, things can kind of go to certain things and not really be fully accounted for, and then you find it later on. But pretty much like the disappearing money has pretty much put an end to this movie here. Pretty much facing a federal indictment and with like $1 million missing in China, I believe. So, come on. Bear with me. I'm trying to read this here, but the page is freezing up. But Bill employed the services of Utah-based firm called Ohana Capital Financial, which has pretty much been the dream child of a con artist by the name of James Wolfgram. James Wolfgram is another person that's actually been in the headlines not too long ago. But Wolfgram is a self-described cryptocurrency billionaire who posts pictures of sports cars that supposedly belong to him on social media. But all of his wealth is pretty much a sham. Wolfgram, it's all a sham. It's not even real wealth. He's not rich. He's not a billionaire. And all the sports cars he posts are pretty much just pulled from Google. And that's how he gets people to, I don't know, employ him.
That's all it takes.
I guwe're doing things honestly, so we're having a harder life here. But it says here that Wolfgram spent $4 million of a Chinese manufacturer's money to fund his own lifestyle, as opposed to, the movie.
Right.
So it's God. Wolfgram then used the money intended for Rebels Run to pay for the manufacturer's product, personal protective equipment, and his actions raised the suspicion of Beale and the film's team, which reported him to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Okay, so I'm sorry, Beale's on hot water. This Wolfgram guy is. FBI prosecutors charged Wolfgram with 4 counts of wire fraud over the theft of Rebels Run money and other aspects of his business. The scandal forced Beale to inform his supporters that the movie would not be made, saying that he couldn't count on us getting the money back. Excuse me. He also made the basis claim the theft was part of a large plot intended to break our conservative community. But again, not a political thing. But I was reading this thinking, like, how are you not going to do your full amount of research on a person? You're going to hand them millions of dollars to allocate, and then, that happens. And I don't know. Like, there's bad producing, and then there's really bad producing. This is pretty much, I would consider this unproducing. The polar opposite of what producing should be.
Right.
So, anyway, I figured I'd share that really quick before we got into our bigger topic. But I was reading this. I was kind of laughing about it earlier. It's not funny. A lot of people lost money doing that. A lot of people, it's crowdfunded. Lots of people lost money. Whichever way you swing, left or right, middle, I don't care. That's messed up.
Yeah,
so
it's messed up.
That's a shitbag.
But it should also be a lesson to do more than just a top level bit of research, surface level research, and into things you put your money into.
Yep.
Especially if you're putting a lot of money into it, and all you see is this guy who, what is 2 things? You think he's conservative and you think he's rich, and you're like, yes, he should have my money. Personally, this is just my philosophy. If somebody that's supposed to be rich is asking me for money, there's something wrong just there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
for money.
Huh?
Said I'm the one that should be asking them for money, not the other way around.
Yeah, right. My God. Oh man. But yeah, so it's like I was reading that, and I was just I don't know. I feel really bad for them because the guy has been putting a lot of work in, like, whether or not it's a conservative superhero or what, I don't give a shit. But the thing is he has been putting a lot of work into it. There's a lot of people that have been putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that product, and then this happens. Some dude takes the money and lives this lavish lifestyle over in China, I guess. And but yeah, apparently all it took was a few pictures of expensive cars from Google posted to his portfolio.
I just don't understand how someone can have the mindset of thinking a superhero that espouses the values of the Confederacy is going to make me a lot of money.
I don't know. I don't know. Because I was going to say, if I remember right, I believe the superhero was actually like a Confederate soldier or something.
Yeah. If I recall, that's it's kind of the way it was. Like
it's like
reminds
it's
me.
Like, I mean, you do what you want to do,
Captain
like
America, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know.
As an investor, my first thought, maybe it's because I watched too much Shark Tank. My first thought is, how am I going to make my money back and then some?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it's because of my personal values, but I just don't see in any kind of release form this movie being able to, I don't know, make money.
Yeah, no clue.
Because
But I mean,
there's the people that would never watch it. There's the people that would want to watch it, but quite frankly, wouldn't want any of their credit card history to show that they've watched it. And I think in even smaller groups still, yeah, there's people that would watch it, but I don't think it would be in the numbers needed to justify putting anything remotely near millions of dollars into.
oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. But I mean, like, make what you want, do what you're going to do. It's really, I mean, it could have been an interesting story. Who knows? I can't disparage it because of just like what kind of superhero it was. Like, there's nothing about it.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not
So
disparaging someone's vision by any
no, I
means,
know.
but um, just from what I've heard about it, I'm just thinking of this purely as like from a business standpoint.
Oh yeah, I know. Like these days, that wouldn't really go too far. Like even like 10 years ago, it probably could have gone somewhere because just whatever.
I think
Um,
this was a movie that would have really found its place in, I don't know, 1981. Back when the Duke Boys of Hazard County were still a thing. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's where it
I don't
would have
know. I
fit
got
in.
nothing on that one.
Southern culture had a quite a big resurgence in the
Yep.
1980s.
Uh, but
And you,
yeah, no. I mean, I would have been interested to see where that story would go, just like out of curiosity. I wouldn't really give a shit about it, but I would be interested to see where it went.
oh yeah,
Um,
out of morbid curiosity, to be like, all right, pitch me. What happens in your film? You have my attention. Now show me that you deserve my money.
yep. No, but moving into our conversation from this though, there's a you and I had a conversation earlier this week, talking about the bad guys in film, the antagonists, and are they really bad people? Or we had like a interesting conversation about that. I think it was because I just told you like the other day, I just watched Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends, and
Mm-hmm.
I walked away from the movie visibly like I can't see myself, but I can tell that I was very visibly to other people beyond annoyed because we had this Halloween movie, the final Halloween movie with Michael Myers, and the son of a bitch is in it for about 15 minutes.
I believe it's like 10 minutes and some change.
Just saying, barely in it. The movie centers largely around, you know what? I thought the spoiler thing, because the movie's been out for like a week and a half now. Like, I mean, at this point,
Streaming. If you want to see it, you've probably seen it.
yeah. But either way, so there's going to be this is going to be spoilers. Corey is a new character that we've never seen in any of the last two movies,
Mm-hmm.
who accidentally kills a kid that he's babysitting, not out of malice or any anger or anything like that, and not like a psychotic break. But the kid locks him in like probably like the largest house in Haddonfield, Illinois.
What was that? What was the layout of that house? It was like four or
this
five
house
stories.
is like this house is like a damn skyscraper. I don't know. Remember like that whole scene in Ghostbusters where they're walking up the stairs to go to the roof to fight Gozer, and it's like, what level are we on? 23. All right. Let me know when we're on 90. I'm going to throw up. Like that's pretty much like what this is like. This whole movie is like a spiral staircase going up this house. And I guess like on the 5th floor, whatever, in the attic, he gets locked in there by the kid. The kid's like taunting him, talking about the boogeyman's going to get him. Michael Myers going to get him. And the guy freaks out. Like he starts like kicking at the door. And the kid, for some reason, despite this guy kicking at the door, is standing right outside the door.
Oh yeah, the kid's a total moron.
And the mom and dad walk in to hear this commotion, and they hear him screaming, "I'm going to kill you." And the mom turns back to the dad. It's like, what was that? As the door bursts open, knocks the kid over. This little 3-foot kid somehow knocks him over a 3-foot stair rail.
Can I stop you right there?
Go ahead.
Okay, because I've seen this scene a couple of times. Because when Kevin came over, I was talking about it, and he's like, "I gotta see that." So I played it for him, and it looks like the door hits him, and he's going towards the stairs, and I can't for the life of me how figure out how he
the physics
goes down
right
this. Yeah, it makes no sense, and I know.
Yeah, I could see if he went through the rail.
Yeah,
that would have made sense if you seen some of the rail fall with a kid. But this kid, it played. I mean, I know I should have been more horrified by this, but I was drinking a coffee at work and I spit it out because I started laughing hysterically at it. It was so. It was Final Destination shit. It was this kid falls down, man. He falls down, and he doesn't just fall and go splat. No, we can't have that. That's just too easy. We have to really up it. So as the mom turns back to the husband, what's going on up there? The kid falls down. You hear the kid screaming, and then he hits the ground oh, that's horrible. Doesn't stop there. This kid shoots back up and then falls backwards. I'm like, oh my God.
He bounced.
Well, you got a bouncing baby boy.
Just a straight.
So it's I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking what the hell am I watching? This is the opening to a Halloween film, and then it cuts to 4 years later, and all I can think of when I'm watching this movie is this guy is being this guy's being treated like shit by the town because of this incident with this kid. It's an innocent accident. It truly is. The guy didn't know the kid was staying right outside the door when he's kicking it open. He's not trying to get to the kid. He's trying to get out of an enclosed space. He's panicking and freaking out.
Yeah, they live in a town where this masked man kills babysitters.
Yeah. So all this goes down. And so 4 years later, this guy has this stigma attached to him now where he's the freak that killed a kid.
Mm-hmm.
People are calling him a pedophile. They're calling him all kinds of things. And the dad has this really good line in the movie where he's talking about how he just wanted to forgive him because he felt like all the pain, all the grief, all the anger that he had, the town people used it to make this kid's death about them. And so the least he could do is be the one person in the town to show forgiveness to this kid because he always was a good kid. He was always a good guy. It was an accident.
Yeah.
But so we had this character. And honestly, if we were going to be introduced to this character, we should have been introduced to this character all the way back in Halloween 1. He should have been back in the first Halloween movie. If not the first one, at least in Halloween Kills. Somewhere. Because it's just a forced introduction to this character. And then because they want us to get caught up with this character, they made the entire movie about him. It's not Michael Myers and Laurie Strode's story in this movie. It's barely their story. This is this guy Corey and Laurie Strode's granddaughter. This is their story.
Yeah.
There's more about them than there was about Laurie Strode and Michael Myers in this movie. Now it was a psycho romantic movie. I don't know how to, it's I don't even know how to describe it. But like I said in my Facebook post, it was very nice that the writers did give Michael Myers a cameo in his own franchise. That was nice of them. And this is where I got confused. He's a good kid, right? He's a good guy. He runs into some bullies that throw him over a bridge. Again, this guy is being treated like shit the first half of this movie.
Oh yeah, by including the local teens.
Oh yeah. This guy, these people are hunting him. He did nothing. wrong. The kid died because of his carelessness. That's all it was. Because of his panic and everything else. It honestly is something that could happen to someone. But he gets pulled into a sewer by Michael Myers for some reason. And even the old homeless man that's outside the sewer underneath this bridge, like the kid comes stumbling out. Well, I'm sorry. Let me get ahead of myself here. He wakes up in the sewer, and as he's walking out, he hears breathing. He turns around, looks, and you see a hand shoot out. It's Michael Myers staring at him. And while Michael Myers is staring at him, you see flashes of all these things that have happened to Corey. I'm like, huh. Okay. All right. And Corey walks out. He's kind of like possessed at this point. It seems like he's possessed. I'm like, so are we going back to the curse of Michael Myers? Like something that they wanted to write out? They wanted to write out the whole supernatural thing for Michael Myers. That's the point of these movies. To get rid of all the supernatural stuff and make it more grounded.
No, I think it was more recognized game thing.
Well, I mean, it's all they do is look at each other's eyes. That's it.
Yeah, Laurie makes a point of saying it over and over again. I see the same look in his eyes as he says
I know. But the thing is, like, he stumbles out, and then the homeless guy is asking him, like, why did he let you live? Why did he let you leave? He's pulled a lot of people in there, and you're the only one he let live. Why you? Why you? Like, whatever. And then he stabs the homeless guy. Granted, the homeless guy pulled the knife out of him and all that stuff, but he stabbed the homeless guy. And then he hides the body, I guess, because he's in the tent eventually. I don't know, but whatever. And then that's where he becomes a psycho by wearing the scarecrow mask that he was wearing to a Halloween party. And he kind of like adopted Michael Myers' persona throughout the movie when he was wearing the mask, like tilting his head and all that stuff and whatever. Like just,
standing outside the window.
Yeah, the only difference is that Michael Myers is not a bitch when it comes to getting stabbed. This guy, like, I think someone slammed his hand in the door and he started screaming and holding his hand. Michael Myers would just be like, now I'm going to stab you. But yeah, it's just like, it didn't make sense to me. This whole movie, it wasn't. And, when we got the scene of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode fighting, that's the one part where I was like, okay, this is awesome. This is great. She stabs his hand onto the tabletop, stabs his other hand down, pulls the fridge down to like pin his legs. That way he can't really move. And even then, he still rips the knife between his middle and index ring finger, and still starts choking her out. After she's already slit his throat.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that kills him is she slits his wrist. Like, okay. But the thing is, it brings into question, the second movie is barely referenced in this one. This town formed a mob that caused the death of an innocent person. The inmates. Huh?
We don't talk about that.
It's like it was a monstrous act.
We don't talk about that.
But I'm just saying, it was a monstrous act. It's barely even mentioned in this movie. Barely mentioned.
You accidentally killed a kid. We very much intentionally killed an innocent, a person that wasn't Michael Myers.
On the same night. On the exact same damn night, too. Like, oh, he's a freak, though. I'm like, you guys rallied together, and we're chanting evil dies tonight. And then the guy jumped to his death, and everyone's like, that's not Michael Myers. Oh, okay, we'll just move on now. Like, you guys moved on so quick from killing someone just because they were an inmate at a mental health clinic.
Yeah, it's America.
Like, oh, look, a loon. That's okay. He's crazy. Kill him. Welcome to the 1800s.
That's the only reason I think Halloween Ends I liked more than Halloween Kills. Just I can see in the whatever writer's room or someone sitting behind their computer asking themselves, what is really going to annoy Josh? You know what he hates? Repetition. You know what we should do? Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Over and over again until Josh wants to pull his hair out. And yeah, I did, as you can see. And it, no, that was so annoying. And at least in Halloween Ends, when Corey does his, Michael Myers montage throughout the town, some good-looking kills in this movie. And what got me was, generally speaking, when a serial killer goes after whoever they're going after, it's not super personal for the most part. It's generally just an urge to kill.
Yeah.
Corey not only goes after the people that have been making his life hell, he's going after people that aren't good people.
Yeah.
There's just no sympathy for the people that he kills. In fact, for some of them, I'm like, all right, kid, you do you.
Yeah, no, there are a few times where I'm watching him kill someone, I'm like, okay, you know what, bitch deserved it. Like his mom. She is a horrible person in that movie. The only person that was killed,
the scariest person in that movie by far.
Yeah, see, there's only two people in the entire movie that I actually felt bad for when it came to their deaths, and that was his stepfather, and then that was the white chick that was hanging out with the bullies, because you can tell she didn't really want to be there, but she was associated with them, and that's how he looked at her, like part of the part of the ship, part of the crew kind of deal.
And
but it's like, she's the one that even said flat, was like, and you called him a psycho after you threw him off the bridge. She's like, who's a psycho now? Like he fell. That's my story. He fell. Like, oh, that's great. You're a psycho now. Like whatever. She says something like, "Oh, with him it was an accident. With you purposely did that." But when he crushed her with a gate, and then I think he like stomped her head in or something like that. Eventually, his dad, like his stepfather was there at the junkyard. This guy loved Corey. Like he was such a sweet guy in that movie too. The sweetest character in any Halloween movie so far, by far. Because he even says to this Corey kid, Corey's getting involved with this with Laurie's granddaughter,
mm-hmm.
and the mom is not having it. She's pissed.
Yeah.
But you have the stepfather who says, Corey, I hope you find love. I'm like, oh, he's going to die. He's such a nice person. He's going to die somehow. I hope he doesn't, but he's going to die. The one character in any Halloween film I've ever watched that I absolutely cared about and wanted to survive was that stepfather. Everybody else is just, okay. They're going to live or they're going to die, one of the two. But coming down to this is like we're talking about the perceptions of good guys versus bad guys.
Yeah.
In these movies. And Michael Myers, obviously, bad guy. Psychotic, just goes around killing whoever he wants to kill. And whether you are or are not in his way. If he sees you, he's going to kill you, most likely. To my understanding, he doesn't kill kids. But once you're a teenager and up, I guess he automatically knows, like, once you're, like, a teenager, teens and up, they're the targets. But he's never killed a single kid in any of those movies so far. Not once. But Corey, is he honestly a bad guy? Oh, yeah, he killed some people. But most times those people were either attacking him first or making his life a living hell. Now, the doctor and the nurse, he did that for his girlfriend. Part of their let's burn this whole town down, whatever, pact. Yeah. And she kind of encouraged him. So is she the bad guy or is she the good guy? Zod in Man of Steel. I've got to say Zod was in my opinion, a very sympathetic kind of villain. He was only doing what he was made to do. Superman had Kal-El in that movie had choices. He had choices in his life because he was the first natural birth that Krypton had in hundreds of years, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zod was bred to lead and to destroy. His primary objective that he had was
race.
Huh?
His primary mission was to preserve their species, I guess would be a better way to put it.
Yeah, the survival of the race and the survival of, any survival of Kryptonian of the Kryptonian legacy. That's what his goal was, to preserve it.
And on the inverse of that, you got Kal-El, who, because he was raised by a jerk named Jonathan Kent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and he was horrible in that movie. Jonathan Kent was more of a villain than anybody else in that movie, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only
son that made, after he dies stupidly, let's face it, it was suicide, right? He has the means to save himself, and he's just like, nah, I'm good. Just let me die, buddy. And to me, Jonathan Kent basically offed himself in front of his kid, evil bastard. But he raised a son that would eventually leave home and force his mom to work at Sears and run a farm.
Yep. Yeah, the other thing is don't forget that one line where Clark Kent, when he saves that bus full of children.
Should I just...
The whole town knows about Clark Kent.
Maybe.
The whole town had to have known about Clark Kent, right? The whole town had to have known. People talk. And they even were interviewed by Lois Lane, and they gave their accounts of what he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
They already know he's got superpowers. But either way,
they totally know.
The movie is riddled with plot holes. But the thing is, still, when he's a kid and he asks two different things. First off, when he's being picked on outside of Jonathan Kent's auto shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the kid punches him, and Clark lands on the ground. He's holding onto the fence post, and when he gets up, you see that he crushed the post. And he tells his dad, he's like, "I wanted to hit him." He says, "Yeah, I kind of wanted you to hit him too." Dude. Okay, I get that. Maybe the kid had something coming to him, and you wanted him to hit him, but your kid's not going to hit him, whatever, right? But then he saves a bus full of kids. He's like, "What was I supposed to do? I let them drown?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Oh, maybe." Dude. Here, give me 1 second. Right back, Josh. One second, pal.
Okay, I'll tell the people. Let's make it official. In the Snyderverse, the biggest villain isn't Lex Luthor. It's not Doomsday, or quite frankly, anybody else other than Jonathan Kent. How Superman became anything other than Superman is just baffling at this point, right? But we've talked at length about the problems with those movies.
Okay.
And this is
Sorry about that.
It's not the time to go through it again. Basically, Brandon, what I was telling the people is the biggest villain in the Snyderverse isn't Lex Luthor or Doomsday. It is Jonathan Kent.
I mean, I would say it was Zack Snyder, but I
don't know if he counts as in-universe, though.
I was telling someone that I have a huge issue with Zack Snyder because I think he's and I've said this on the show multiple times. He is an amazing. He's got this beautiful eye for gorgeous cinematography, right? But you can only see so much slow motion in a damn movie. When Lois Lane is coming out of someone in Movie Addiction says "Oh well, he uses slow motion, but only in the action scenes." I told someone there is a scene when Lois Lane is getting coffee and she's walking out. It's not even an important scene.
She slowly hands.
She is walking to work.
Guard.
She's leaving a coffee shop. She's leaving a goddamn Starbucks, and it's slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm surprised they didn't have like a slow motion like version of like the people at Starbucks making the coffee. But I guess it was raining outside, so we had to have slow motion of Lois Lane walking out with a coffee in the rain. So we had this regal picture of her face. Like, guys, we know what she looks like. We've seen her a few times in these movies. Like, we get it. The Flash scenes, that made sense. Flash versus Superman, that made sense.
Going to visit the memorial site. By the way, I don't know if we talked about this in the show or not, but it's a statue. It's a site that would cause, I think, even in the strongest of people, some like PTSD flashbacks of, it's the guy that wrecked half the city. And we built a statue for him?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it's like the guy that had his legs crushed by the steel, what do you call it? Rafter. Right? He was pissed off, rightfully so. The thing is, like, so getting to the point of things, like, okay, like in Batman vs. Superman, I'd say the villain in that, only because of how stupid he is compared to like what he is in the comics. People are saying like that's the comic book version of Batman that we all deserve. Like, well, no, it's not, because even in his older years, Batman was the world's greatest detective. In this one, he just wanted to kill Superman. That's all it was. He just wanted to kill Superman. Batman vs. Superman, he just wanted to kill Superman no matter what. And then you have Superman's dumbass. Like, he could have just hovered above ground and spoken to Bruce about everything. That's it. That whole scene made no sense. None.
What angers me most about the portrayal of Batfleck, and don't get me wrong, when it comes to I'm not a fan of Snyder's movies at this point, but I was a fan of Batfleck. I thought he looked awesome, and I thought the portrayal was pretty awesome. The part that made me angry, you know what, angry is too strong a word because it means I care. The thing that irritated me most about it was we see a Batman that's basically hit rock bottom. He's, lost his own code. He's just doing the damn thing.
Josh, hold that thought 1 second. I'm sorry, hold that thought 1 second.
Brandon's attention's off camera right now. Taking a message, maybe from Indiana. That looks like he's pulling out something.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I was just commentating while you were doing whatever the hell it is that you were doing. No, the thing that really brought me down as far as the Batfleck goes was the fact that we got a Batman that hit rock bottom, but it seems like that story would have been so much more interesting than the one they told.
Josh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes. Oh, okay. Look. All right. Continue. I am so sorry. This is why we need to have like our own studio and be in the same city and sit across from the table from each other and have this discussion.
Yeah, a door with a lock on it. I haven't seen one of those in years. But it seems like the story of Batman's downfall would have been much more interesting than any of the stories that we've gotten.
Yeah.
And that's the part that really, it hurts, honestly, because we've seen Batman in so many places, but to show him in this position and only teasing like all of these much more interesting stories.
Oh yeah,
it hurts.
Well, you see, like, and like while we're talking about Batman, the newer version that came out, right? Now, I don't want to
The
I didn't mean
Batman?
for the show to be like very DC centric. We
Hey,
wanted to talk
Black
about a few
Adam just
things, and
came
we,
out today. The hashtags will be great.
huh?
Said with Black Adam coming out today, the
Oh yeah,
hashtags
like
will
that's,
be awesome.
and I haven't seen that one yet, but hopefully soon. But the Batman with Robert Pattinson,
Hmm.
the big villain of that one is the Riddler.
Right.
But
All
how
Dano.
much of a villain is he to begin with? Because like technically, what he's doing is he's getting rid of the crime.
Yeah, he's targeting corruption in
Yeah, like I mean, so
politics and the police.
is why is he like the thing is he's the criminal because he kills very graphically, so like very graphically, but he does kill. He's taking out the corrupt officials and corrupt members of
Mhm.
society, whereas Batman doesn't kill. He maims severely. They may die soon afterwards from
They may never
severe
walk again.
concussions and like I guess you know
Brain damage.
bodily damage. But who's really the bad guy in that movie? Like, I mean, Falcone, absolutely, he's a bad guy. The Penguin, he's kind of like a lackey, not really a bad guy. Well, he's a bad guy, but like not really the villain in that movie. But the Riddler, we look at him as the villain, and he looks the part because he's modeled after the Zodiac killer. I've got to say, a brilliant take on the Riddler for like a more modern age.
Yeah.
I love what they did with him. Absolutely brilliant, realistic depiction of what someone in today's society would probably look like, much like Batman with his not the gliding wings, but the actual wing suits.
Mm-hmm.
And then, here's my one per episode, getting fucked up on the way down because, that was a hell of a fall he took.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that, he even gets some starts limping away afterwards. But the Riddler is like I said, the big thing is he's listed as a villain, but is he really the villain in that movie? What separates him from Batman? They're both vigilantes.
Like more of an anti-hero from the sounds of it.
Like I mean, that's exactly what I would describe him more like on the same level as the Punisher. You too, huh? No, but I would actually compare the Riddler and the Batman to the Punisher. There's no difference to me. They're tacticians. They're very brilliant people, and they have no problem killing either with a gun or very graphically so. So, didn't he kill one guy with like a carpet scraper?
Yeah, it was like the key to the whole.
Oh, we are taking our turns and leaving the show tonight. But yeah, so and you have and ladies and gentlemen, you have other characters in recent years that I would not really label a villain or an evil person that was like the bad guy in a movie. The reboot of Child's Play, nothing with Charles Lee Ray in it, but the reboot with Mark Hamill doing the voice for Chucky. That's just computer programming gone wrong. There's this movie Megan coming out where actually here we go. Wait, there we go. Okay, I was just talking about things that outside of DC, things that people would describe as being like a villain. That's not really a villain. Like not really a bad guy or even a good guy. But Chucky and Child's Play, the reboots, the mechanical version of Chucky, not the possessed doll. Just doing what it's programmed to do and learning because it had all the inhibitors like removed from it. All the inhibiting programs are gone. So with that doll, monkey see, monkey do. So what he thinks is playing is really killing. Like the whole where they're watching a movie and he's like see someone stabbing them with a knife and everyone's laughing and he wants to play with them, so he comes out with a knife and he's getting ready to stab somebody with it.
Right.
But and then he does kill Andy's mom's boyfriend that was married with kids, but that he was abusive towards Andy. And then you have other things like this new movie Megan that's coming out next year. I don't know if you've seen any of those trailers or not. But that is like a disturbing looking movie. But with her, she's an android that is designed to keep this girl safe and protect her at all costs. She takes that very literally. Have you seen that trailer yet?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to send you a link to this. We should be able to play this on the show, I believe, as long as we give credit to who's doing it. But this is a great example, though, of what I feel is not really a bad guy. This is, I guess, like a victim of its own circumstance. One second.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
Copy. I'm going to send this to you on Facebook Messenger right now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put this in the comment section here for the video. There we go. But like, this is a great example of a character that is going to be like the villain in this movie. Are they really a villain?
Let's see. Said about the comments.
Okay, you're going to watch this right now?
Well, yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back while you're watching it. This is like our show. We're both just kind of like leaving the show for a few minutes here, so I'll be right back.
Oh, that's why it's not showing up. Okay, there's the link. I'm going to...
This project at work. Do you want to see?
Yes.
Ever since I was little, I dreamed of this perfect toy that would protect a kid from ever feeling lonely or sad. This is Megan.
Hi, Megan. I'm Katie. It's nice to meet you, Katie. Do you want to hang out? Okay.
Megan, your goal is to protect Katie from harm, both physical and emotional. Is that a doll? Model 3 generative. Android. Megan, short.
I can't believe you made this. I love it.
Wanna hang out, yeah, sounds like fun.
Stop.
It's nice.
It's honestly like she's pregnant. Building emotional connections with her too hard to attend. She's the happiest she's been since her parents died. Eat the
Oh,
toppings,
boy.
Katie.
Research shows if you force a child to eat vegetables, they'll be less likely to choose those foods as adults.
Is that so?
Yes, experts say.
Megan, turn off.
I thought we were having a conversation.
Throw the doll away.
It's like the girl's like, the hell did you just say to me?
Say something. Stop! Don't! Megan! You should probably run.
Well, that seems a bit unnecessary.
Megan, she pushed Brandon onto the road. I won't let anything harm you.
It's nice.
Megan, turn off.
Once, model. Megan! What's wrong with you? Don't worry, Katie. I won't let anything harm you. Ever again.
It's nice to have.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
Like I said, throw the whole damn doll away. But
I mean, you
Now-
understand why I have problems with this, right?
Because you've got 3 children, all of which have female hormones.
Not necessarily along those lines. It's just this is going to draw a very specific group of people, and they're not the kind of people you want to be
Are you talking about
hanging out
pedos?
with. One of many groups, and those weird doll people.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it's like, watching this, like, but like back to the topic at hand, though, like this is an example of a bad guy that's not really something I would consider a bad guy.
Yeah, it's like a really demented version of AI.
Yeah. Honestly, anything with AI, I don't really look at it as being like the villain of the movie. I can't really call like like artificial intelligence evil. Ultron was not, by my definition, an evil robot.
No.
He was doing exactly, quite literally, what he was programmed to do. And like even the What If answer, the What If series had a great response to Ultron's programming. Peace. That's all it wants is peace. And he says in the movie, I think you're confusing peace for quiet. But Thanos, there's a theory going around that Thanos knew about the Celestials.
Yeah, of course he did. They're family.
And so by him wiping out, and like the Eternals, touched on it, Thanos wiped out all of like half of every civilization in the universe.
Yeah.
Wiped out half of everything.
And that was
and this delayed, huh?
And so that was also the running one of the theories about why Doctor Strange decided that was the only way things could go, was because if it didn't, the Celestial would have, came about earlier. But it was, as it said in Eternals, it was delayed due to the snap.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was
like
actually
those
the
like
Avengers that really messed everything up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so who's the bad guy there?
Well, as always,
the damn
it's Tony
Earthlings,
Stark.
that's who. Tony Stark had to just, I don't know, had to kill Thanos. They couldn't have just like made do.
How about this for a completely random, stupid explanation? Tony Stark, the mansplainer, right? He's like, fine, I'll fix your problem. So he does. And of course, by fixing the problem, it just screws everything up more.
Yep. I mean, that's what he does. Every single thing that has happened in the MCU has pretty much been almost constantly connected to Tony Stark somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Damn near every single thing.
Including all of the technology that just keeps winding up in these, people's hands.
Yeah, like Wakanda with Klaw. He worked with Tony Stark. He even mentions it. Keep your friends rich, keep your enemies rich, and wait to find out which is which. He said that to Klaw. So, I mean, like that's right there. All the people that died in Sokovia, all those people, that was on Stark because he created the robot that did that.
And then let's not forget Civil War, and the Sokovia Accords wound up being thrown out anyway. So, guess it was wrong again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn Tony Stark.
Like he's
every day, bud.
Everything like Howard Stark, he was a hero. Howard Stark was a hero. Tony Stark, little shit. Like Who's to say that Obadiah Stane, if he took over Stark Industries, maybe he would have carried on Howard's legacy and actually created something that wasn't so, I don't know, damaging. Who is a hero? Who's a villain here?
Heroes and villains are so incredibly subjective.
Like, you know,
And that applies pretty much everywhere. It
Yep.
just depends on what side of the story you're on.
well, you know, regardless of the side of the story, everyone is a hero in their own story.
I'm not.
You are.
No, I don't know.
You are knee deep in placenta every single day. Okay, like I mean, you're a hero. You make it work. You got 3 hormonal teenagers that are pretty much always on you about everything.
You make it sound like I'm a gynecologist, though.
No. You're just surrounded by estrogen at all times. So
I think it's more fair to say I'm surrounded by children at all times.
yeah. And each one has a like high dose of estrogen that's always around you.
Go to work, kids. Go home, kids. Talk to you, kids.
Well, in all fairness, you and I haven't really spoken that much during the week in the last like couple weeks because of the scheduling conflicts. So
Yeah, we've both been.
we have primarily only really
Busy.
conversed on this show, where like our weekly catch-ups have actually been much more, I don't know, realistic because that's what they were. So,
Even,
but on that
even
note,
earlier tonight,
I am going to have to get going here because I do have to go in for a few hours tonight. Not
Jesus
long, but a
Christ,
few hours.
I was just about to say something, and you're just like,
Oh, go
and
ahead.
speaking of which, we're
Oh,
done.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sweetie.
I was
Daddy's
gonna
got you.
mention earlier tonight, we tried to get in a little phone call, you know, a little us talking,
Yeah.
and I was the one that was like, "Dinner's ready, gotta go."
No, it wasn't just that, but while we were talking, I heard like a thump. And I heard someone scream, ow. And then people shouting. I'm like, oh, okay, you better go get that.
Yeah, I mean, nothing happened. Just you order pizza for the kids on a Friday night. Things happen.
Oh, God.
Can I
One
give
of
before you
life's
go one
little
more
joys
example?
I have no intention of having anytime soon.
One can I give one more example?
Yeah, what's up?
You know, heroes and villains. It's like you said, it's all subjective. It all comes down to one of the things that we love to talk about here, which is context.
Mm-hmm.
And context being everything, I don't think I could, in good conscience, leave the show without mentioning Jigsaw from the Saw movies.
No, absolutely. No, that's actually probably there are some horror icons that I can't really say are absolute villains. Jigsaw is one of the biggest examples. Is one of the best examples, actually.
He's never been what you'd call a straight up killer.
Yeah.
He not only tells people that there is a way out, but as we learned, throughout, there's always a second back door that, if you're clever enough, you won't have to mutilate yourself at all.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, he even has that one line in the only good Saw movie, the best one, the first one. He has that one line where he tells Amanda, he was like, you know, most people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you, not anymore. Like there are people he actually did cure of that, like their greed or their illness or their lack of respect for their life. He, you know, there's a few that obviously didn't work on, like homegirl that chopped off her hand with a cleaver, was still pretty sour in the last movie. But a lot of other people, like he pretty much rid them of their desire to end their lives. Amanda was just always a vengeful person, but he gave every one of them a way out. Every one of them. In Saw 3, my second favorite movie in the entire series was Saw 3. The doctor that he kidnapped to work on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. As far as he was concerned, he had so much faith in her husband that he did not feel like her life was absolutely in danger. It was in danger. She made it clear. He made it clear that, like, despite everything looking whatever in that room, she was surrounded by possible ways that she could die.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, with the daughter had, like, was in what, like, just like one of the other rooms, I think. That was it. Most of the times, like, it's pretty much the people that he's punishing that are the bad guys, as far as I'm concerned. There are multiple villains in Saw films, and they are very rarely ever Jigsaw. Jigsaw just kind of puts them in the same room and shows them who they really are.
Yeah, it's not until the underlings take control of some of the traps where it's like, oh, now it's just people wanting to kill.
Oh yeah, like the detective, Strom? No, that was Agent Strom. Whatever the detective's name is. Straight up sociopath. Full on psycho. He spent the last 3 movies just trying to kill Jill, his like Jigsaw's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda, drug abusing psychopath. But yeah, as far as John Kramer, like, he was actually a very sympathetic kind of character. Much like how Thanos was in those movies. Thanos was a very sympathetic character.
It was Kramer's goal to help the people, not necessarily kill them.
But then you have movies like The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. He's not really a bad guy in that movie. He is 6 Ways from Sunday. He is someone that the entire world has turned their back on.
Mm-hmm.
He tries so hard the first 3/4 of that movie to be a good person until he just gives in and decides to do his thing. Even on the subway, like, I mean, he just lost his fucking mind for a minute. Like, he just lost it.
Yeah.
Like, he snapped.
That's why I don't like that. I don't like the Joker handle being put on this character, because sometimes I think that the Joker is just supposed to reflect sometimes people are just broken, man.
Yeah. And like with him, like, I mean, what was it between his mom, Thomas Wayne, even Alfred in that movie was a prick.
Like, don't
Alfred was an asshole in that movie.
The Joker. So don't justify the Joker. He's supposed to be, unjustifiable psychosis.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, this is pretty much like, I look at this as like the One Bad Day storyline, right? Zazie Beetz is in it, and I guess, like, in that, like, he imagined the entire relationship with her to the point where she was scared shitless when he ended up in her apartment. But and then at the very end, when he just gave in, and he ends up killing Robert De Niro with the Murray on his show.
I'll give you one more if you say the line.
Huh?
I said you can have one more F-bomb if you say the line.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
But it is an amazing clip, though. It's an amazing scene in that movie. Like, the moment where you can see that he absolutely snapped was at that point. Because there was no hesitation when he shot him. But then when he gets up, you can see that he's kind of like just like soaking it all in. And it's like, bam, bam, and throws the gun down. And then he really adopts that Joker persona. And at the very end, where he's like bleeding like heavily from the mouth, and he just kind of does a whole, like, damn, okay. Because the Joker did that in the comic books quite a few times. So he got his ass kicked. He's like, okay. Oh, yeah. But anyway, on that note, I do have to get going, Josh.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, handle down here for Instagram, bjacksman1982. Facebook, Brandon Junk. Try to find me. I don't care. WADcast.com. That website will be down for a little while here as we try to find a new provider for it. We are getting away from GoDaddy. It's too expensive. But it's been fun for 2 years with GoDaddy. GoDaddy, thank you very much for everything you've done for us, but we're finished with you. Now, that being the case, Facebook and Instagram both, facebook.com, instagram.com/the WADcast. Find us, follow us, like us, love us, and that's it. Josh, I will let you do your thing, but I've got to go. I will give you a call shortly, okay?
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday, happy weekend.
Well, I guess it's just us now. How's it going? Well, what Brandon might have neglected to mention was you could always go to WADcomedia.com. That website is up and running and has all the pertinent links and information you need to find out what's going on with Wadco Media and all of our wonderful Wadco podcasts. Starting with, of course, the WADcast, which you can find here, right here, wherever you're listening to my voice, every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We go live, and if you want to be part of the comments, go to Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, and say hello in the old comments there. I'll pop up, I'll throw it on the screen, much like Brandon did when he gave us the link to that movie earlier tonight. We watched the trailer. So, WADcomedia.com, we have merch. You can buy some merch. We can make like a nickel for every t-shirt that gets sold. But you know what? I like the designs. And this is one of the now defunct, I guess, Wadco shows. Every once in a while, a show goes the way of the buffalo, as they say. But I like the merch. Check it out. There's a Patreon too. If you ever feel like throwing some money down and supporting what we do here. Gotta be honest, I don't remember what's on the tiers. I should probably check that out. But as far as all of the social media stuff goes, WADcomedia.com. And while I'm talking about plugs, don't forget to join me and Jen every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, 2:30 Hawaiian for 10 to 1. It's our list podcast, and we make lists. Always movie related. Next week, we're talking about the masters of the horror genre. And of course, Thursday nights, 8:30 p.m., 5:30 Pacific. It's TV Dinners, the show that breaks down television in really interesting and informative ways, as well as hilariously talking about TV. It's been a day. So right now I'm going to remind you of the same thing that I remind you every week with these final thoughts. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. If you want to be a creator, if you want to be a writer, if you want to be director, actor, if you want to be anything when it comes to creation, the first thing you have to do is just start. Start writing. Grab your phone, start directing. Start acting. Do it in front of a mirror. Do it in front of your phone. Throw it up on YouTube. Just get started. Because you're not going to get anywhere if you just stand still. And quite frankly, with the way technology has been democratized, there is absolutely no reason in the world you can't do exactly the thing you want to do. Maybe not necessarily for a ton of money, but at the very least for yourself. It's a start. You can create. And it all starts by you doing it. I'm trying not to steal a famous shoe company's slogan, so just create. That's going to do it for us here on the WADcast, episode number 109. We had a great time. Glad you could join us. And until next week, for episode number 110 of the Writers, Actors, Directors podcast. I have been Josh, and I'm talking for Brandon, once again saying thank you. And I guess we will be seeing you next week.